And look, way to give us some grace, because you were like, yeah, we started to Podfade, but we came back. Yeah, we should really quickly just coin a new term, pod dip.
I like that.
I'm pod going out to grab some extra ice for the party. You can always just come back. Bring a bag of ice to the party, guys, so to speak. Hey, and welcome to the Headliner Podcast. We're your hosts, Nicholas and Elissa, and we're here to keep you in the loop on everything happening within podcasting and share what you can do to promote your show. So, Elissa, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so today is actually largely inspired by a partnered blog post that we did with podground.io, but it's all about how to build a sustainable approach to podcasting. And should you be interested in checking out the blog, it's found at the Headliner blog, so headliner.app/blog. Why so many podcasters quit and what helps keep creators going.
So, yeah, this is a big problem in podcasting, obviously. There's a term that likes to get thrown around in regards to it. It's known as Podfade, which sounds really dramatic. And all that basically is, as the title implies, when a podcast fades away. Now, if I'm cool and I remember to do something visually appealing for social media and the YouTube upload of this episode, I should just fade out of existence right now to demonstrate visually what Podfade looks like. Otherwise, sorry, you're stuck looking at me. But the actual definition of Podfade, and I believe this is actually directly from the article, a phenomenon where a podcast gradually decreases its episode frequency and stops producing new content entirely without an official announcement or final episode. And this usually happens within that sweet spot of like 7 to 10 episodes. So 2 to 2.5 months into a weekly show. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything you think is worth adding to that definition or help with contextualizing it?
Yeah, I mean, I do love a good stat. So kind of, you have the 7 to 10. Podfade, it definitely happens kind of quickly. It's normally a little bit earlier on in shows. But we know every year new podcasts come to light. So listen notes, on average, there's about 200,000 new podcasts are produced each year. And then super smart person named Samuel Slegger kind of broke it down and did all the maths. But basically, by the end of the year, there's only 1% of those podcasts are still actively publishing shows.
Wow. Okay. So we're down from 200,000 new ones to 2,000 every year. Terrifying statistic. But, also at the same time, there is sort of a understandable practical side to it. You and I, we've been doing this podcast for a minute. We obviously work within podcasting, so we can kind of speak to it. Podfade happens because podcasting is hard. It is time consuming. I think a lot of people underestimate that, and they underestimate the fact that there is more to it than just hitting record and then uploading the raw recording without any mixing or editing onto their RSS feed. You have to go in, you have to mix that. If you're recording multiple mics, you have to make sure that things are balanced, that there isn't that much crosstalk, that things have a rhythm and a sense of momentum to them. And then once you've done all of that, that's a whole job in and of itself. You have to promote the show. So, yeah, I think it's very realistic to say that this stuff adds up over time. And maybe if you feel like you aren't getting the results you want after 7 or 10 episodes, you might just kind of lose that motivation.
Yeah, I mean, our show, it kind of had a little bit of podfade at some point. So, we are a company that works with podcasters and we develop podcasting tech. So we definitely know firsthand how much goes into podcasting, how much time. We're guilty of having that little podfade moment. Collectively, we kind of were like, hey, this is something that's really important to us. We definitely need to invest in it, keep pursuing it. So we did bring the show back. We were on, it's like a year. I think we were on like a year of not making anything. Mm-hmm. So it happens. It really does. But really largely today, and again, what that blog talks about is how to build a sustainable approach to podcasting so you can keep doing it. And it doesn't necessarily take away from the joy of podcasting. It just kind of helps keep it manageable so you don't experience things like burnout and you can just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And look, way to give us some grace, because you were like, yeah, we started to Podfade, but we came back. Yeah, we should really quickly just coin a new term, pod dip.
I like that.
I'm pod going out to grab some extra ice for the party. And I think it's really worth spotlighting the fact that like we came back. And a lot of shows that podfade, just because let's say you're a podcaster and you've podfaded already, or you're in the process of it, you can always just come back. Bring a bag of ice to the party, guys, so to speak. But yeah, and I think also the other side of why this happens, other than the commitment and the time sink that it can often feel like it is that you can feel a bit isolated in it, you know? You're churning out these episodes, especially if you're like in a weekly format. There is a lot of strain that goes on when you do this weekly. We don't even do it weekly. We do it bi-weekly, and there are still weeks where I'm like, oh my gosh, didn't we just put out an episode though?
And then sometimes we're like, nope, we're gonna have to push.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of sympathy, and I think it is an understandable thing, especially now with podcasting moving into video. I think a lot of creators are feeling like they need to start producing videos, and we always do the good, better, best approach to video with podcasting, right? But, you know, even the good approach can be hard and time consuming for some people. And that can be discouraging because, yeah, it's one thing to produce an audio podcast every week, and it is a whole other beast to do a video one every week. I think also, if I can interject with one more reason why podfade happens, the new car smell sort of wears off, right? You start something new, it's exciting, you get your really cool podcast intro from the person you hired to write music for you, you get your show art, you put out your first few episodes, everyone's psyched, they're sharing it, it's awesome, it's genuinely a rush. Dramatic as it may sound, it is like climbing a very, very, very small Everest. But then like 2 months in, maybe some of that new car smell disappears and you're like, wait, I have to keep doing this? I have to keep finding things to talk about and write notes and have banter and then edit most of the banter out? That's exhausting.
Exactly. And there was a really beautiful line that, again, the author of the blog was actually Remy Roy. She's the founder of podground.io. But she says, passion alone is great, but passion alone isn't enough. So exactly what you said, just maybe a little bit more like flowery and, you know,
Yeah, there's a little bit less doom and gloom. I think mine was just like a cry for help. I'm so sorry to everyone.
Yeah. So, but anyways, you know, again, we're kind of, you know, hyping this up. And we're like, oh yeah, like it happens. Like we're being real with you, but we're also going to talk about how to avoid this, how to actually set up that system. So let's just kind of go ahead and get into that a little bit more. So Nicholas, you definitely brought out the sense of community. Like you could feel isolated, especially if you're kind of that solo podcaster.
Sure.
There's so many things you can do to find that community, even if you're doing this, you know, all by yourself. There's groups of people that are there for you to ask questions, and you can even just see questions more generally that you're probably asking yourself, but maybe you don't want to like broadcast out to the world. Like, hey, what happens when you record an entire podcast on mute? We've all done it. We've all done it. You don't have to be scared to ask those questions. And again, a quick Google search or a quick search in a lot of these groups, you'll find that it's a pretty common thing. So places like Reddit, really great. There's the r/podcasting. We're always active in it. We're always asking questions. We're always answering questions. There's literally thousands of people in that every day asking questions. It's great. I would definitely recommend checking that out. Podcasting Threads community, again, super active, great for just generally finding things like as inspiration. And then again, more questions. Questions are great. Podground.io, they're amazing. They are a learning and networking platform of independent podcasters. So more kind of for the little guy or for the newer podcaster. But again, their founder, Remy Roy, she's super active in all of those groups that I just mentioned as well. Always giving out tips, always, you know, kind of offering that support. But it's just a really great place to find community.
And especially on like the tech side of things, I can't state this enough. Like r/podcasting is so chill about like, hey, help me figure out what type of microphone to get or, you know, anything like that. They tend to be really cool about it. So yeah, I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, and even your own tech stack that you use, a lot of these, I mean, we're SaaS tools. A lot of us live, you know, chronically online as a result. So there's all sorts of Slacks, Discord channels, subreddits, all of these things. So if you're using very specific tools like Headliner, You can find all of these guys on social media or pretty much on Reddit or basically wherever you are. We're here. We want to help answer those questions and make sure that you're using these tools to the best of your ability.
For sure. Now, on the other side of the coin, we were talking about how like overwhelming podcast production can often be. I'm trying to be graceful. I already gave you the doom and gloom. So it goes without saying, but it's like so obvious at the same time that no one ever thinks it. You can always also just scale back your show a little bit. You don't have to be the full video weekly show. If you want to stay weekly, maybe you do one video episode a month, just for that boost in your discoverability. And then maybe you do record your interviews with video and you just pull the clips from them for social. That already saves you a bunch of time. Alternatively, if you do want to be all video all the time, you can go bi-weekly or tri-weekly. Tri-weekly would be confusing, but you could do it.
Monthly, some would say.
Yes, monthly would make more sense, right? But like, you could do these things. There's a lot of things that you can do, and you don't have to sacrifice on the quality of your podcast. Likewise, let's say you do want to do weekly video podcasts. Maybe your format is just a little too high stakes for a weekly video outfit at this time. Maybe you tweak your format. Maybe instead of doing full out editorial discussions about, I don't know, business concepts or something. I'm just, I'm improvising over here. Maybe you have business owners come on your podcast and have an interview where they explain their approach to running a business. It's a lot less work. It's a lot less research on your side because now you aren't cracking open books and articles and looking for the cited information. You're talking to a person that's doing the work, and you're there, and you're just there to kind of mediate the conversation. Likewise, and I'm sure there are tools out there that can be done or that can be used to do this. You could learn how to make a system that works for your podcast. If promoting your podcast is taking up way too much time, have we got a tool for you? And Elissa, I'll let you take that one if you want.
Yeah, so I mean, especially I'll bring in an anecdote before I get into my little spiel. But I never podcasted before starting at Headliner, and obviously you learn very quickly what all goes into it. And again, you kind of start out and you have that whole like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this. It gets faster over time. Develop these templates, develop these systems. Tools like Headliner, they're designed literally to just try and take some of that load off, to try and help, really. Literally you can make templates for anything visual. So whether that's going to be video clips of like true video recordings or audiograms, where that's going to convert your audio to video so you can share it out on the social, you can brand everything and you can make it look and feel like your show, so it's unique to you. It showcases your own personal style and flair, but it's literally a template. So all you have to do is either make an automation, so maybe search for your podcast and just let Headliner do its thing with automatic audiograms, or just really quickly upload that video recording into Headliner. It'll templatize all of your lovely little clips so you can have everything reasonably within a couple of minutes. You just have to wait for some processing time. You can go ahead, schedule those out on the social media. Furthermore, outside of just general social promotion, there's going to be things like outreach. Like you're probably going to have to send somebody an email asking them if they want to be on the podcast. Probably you're going to have to write show notes and episode titles. There's ways that you can templatize that. Again, tools like Headliner, they can help you to kind of automate that system, if not completely kind of offload or just generally inspire you. Yeah. Just look into your tech stack is all I'm saying. There's systems in place that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. They're there already. Just use them and abuse them. We want you to use them.
Exactly. Like I want to speak from personal experience here too, where outside of podcasting, this is just all walks of creativity, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's very easy to fall into a line of thinking, which is like, no, I'm going to do it from scratch every time. I'm never going to buy the like pre-made cookie dough, so to speak. And it's like, okay, that's great. And there are a lot of times when that really is the way to go about doing it. And it really shows. But yeah, if you're just writing an email or something like that, or you're making a template or you're making an audiogram that follows the same basic colors and backdrop as your other videos, these are very templatable things. And it is a thing where it's not so much that you aren't putting a personal touch on it, so much as you're saving the time and energy to put your personal touch on the steps that are actually, for lack of a better term, like more important. So that's the way I look at that. And being able to templatize some of your work is okay. It is also just one thing you can do in the spirit of templatization is because everything is templated, you can batch create stuff now. So something that I put up with or something that I work through is making a lot of stuff can often feel a bit exhausting. So what I like to do is I like to work on some things on specific days only. And I let it kind of sit in the background because I know I can bang this out in an hour or two on Friday night. Great. You save a bit of time when you start to batch stuff versus, okay, I'm going to take 20 minutes out of my day every day for a week to do this. Or I could just do it in 2 hours and maybe save 10 or 15 minutes cumulatively. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything you want to add there?
Just summing it up, make a system. Learn over time. You'll also get faster over time too. So especially kind of that first time you're making a podcast, it reasonably might take you 4 hours to do something. And then over time, it'll drop down to 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. Like you will get faster. So again, kind of going back to having grace and being flexible with yourself. Like you may start off with this passion and think like, oh, I can do this like once a week, twice a week, whatever. And then as you get into it a little bit more, you start to kind of develop that reality of, oh, there's a lot that goes into it. But that's where you can use your systems, use your templates, and really try to get better over time and just keep going so you don't hit pod fade. You might have to scale back, have that pod dip, but it's okay. Like
pod siesta, if you will.
I love that. We love a siesta. Just those things are going to help you to keep going. And that's really what matters. And you're really just trying to stay with it because you do love podcasting. You don't want to just stop.
Yeah, exactly. I think one way we can kind of sum it up in like a neat little soundbite, because we know how much the internet loves those, is it's very easy to oversell the amount of work it's very easy to undersell the amount of work that goes into a podcast, but it's even easier to undersell your ability to like figure it out, get the work done anyway. That's kind of the way I look at it, right? Yes, editing, producing, making, uploading a podcast, promoting it, it's hard. It's time consuming. It's stressful. But like, it also has a lot of very learnable skills attached to it. You talked about how editing a podcast might take 4 hours your first few times. But once you build a bit of familiarity with the audio editor you're using, yeah, you might cut it down. Heck, once you're familiar with the way that you and your co-host talk, you will be able to make accurate editing decisions in the moment without hearing the audio. For example, I know what me active listening like looks like on a timeline. I can just go in there and I can remove that. So, yeah. That's kind of the point we're making here. Podfade. It's a thing. It's okay. Whatever. Take a pod siesta.
On that note, other things that you can do, we kind of have, that one final tip to help you build that system more holistically. It's repurpose.
Yes.
So again, tools like Headliner exist purely in this realm of helping you to create more with less. So it kind of feels like your podcast is potentially like more visible. You're doing a little bit more just because you're like visibly putting stuff out. So whether that's going to be social clips, just simple like general email promotions or newsletters, whatever. All of these marketing assets are designed to literally help, again, take some of that load off, help you create just volume, but like good volume that's like quality as well. You're not just like spewing random stuff out. It's like good usable things.
Right.
Again, these tools are literally here to help you repurpose what is generally naturally pretty repurposable content. Just as podcasting is storytelling, there's a lot of things you can do. So really look at your show and, kind of repurpose where you can.
Yeah. And I think one thing I want to like underline there is when you're repurposing content, you're doing it from a marketing perspective, right? And like one of the first things you learn in any marketing class is, hey, people like repetition's good. People need to hear things several times. So don't worry about like, well, won't somebody that listened to my podcast get really upset when I like repurpose part of it into an audiogram? No, they won't. If anything, they'll be like, oh yeah, that was worth remembering. thank you. Or, one thing that I always like to encourage people to do is take your podcast after you've recorded it and then do like a 1-minute summary of the key idea, the thesis of that episode. Make like a natural quote unquote social video for TikTok or Instagram Reels. It won't take that long and it will be native content and you can still run the clips from your podcast. But now there's like this anchor piece there. There's something that is like introductory to this concept for your audience.
And building off of that too, if somebody's a true fan of the show, they're never going to get annoyed by seeing something. Like, sure, maybe if it's like an accident and you uploaded the same 100 clips or something like that might be, I could see where that would be a little bit overkill. But it's very unlikely that every single listener is seeing every single piece of content that you're putting out. And then even more, you're doing it also for that discovery aspect. So you have to think about those touch points across your whole system where new people that have never seen you are going to find this stuff. They're going to see that stuff. So that's, again, kind of why you want to really repurpose and have like these batch creation things, because you never know who's going to see it. You never know at what point in your podcast journey somebody's coming in. So it's very likely new content to somebody. Yeah. Usually almost always.
Absolutely. And look, on the note of repetition and people maybe getting annoyed if you post something 100 times, isn't it like currently the Instagram meta to have entire pages where a single clip gets posted every day? Like, don't ever discount the fact that like the strangest stuff goes viral on the internet and that you reposting something by accident is probably going to be fine. That's actually like good behavior in some cases, because as you produce your podcast and you put out new episodes, there may come a day where like an old episode becomes relevant again. And yeah, you have that repurposed content, just repost it.
Yeah, like I'll use our example. We randomly put out stuff about Taylor Swift. Why? Who knows? Who knows?
Well, I mean, we know why, but
don't look at one of your hosts or anything. Yeah. But we randomly put that stuff out. And you know what randomly gets really popular? Like when people get engaged? Taylor Swift content. So yeah, it happens. It happens. You never know.
So Elissa, on that note, I think we've done our bit. We've talked about Podfade, how to fight it. We may have comforted people somewhere, maybe.
After terrifying them.
Yeah, that's on me. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to wind things down here. Podfade, don't be afraid of it. And if you enjoyed this podcast, great. Stick around. Maybe we'll talk about something else that'll fill your heart with dread and then comfort you like 10 seconds later in a week or two. Who knows?